Maybe I'll just leave the picture up. And I won't bother with saying something like, it's Tuesday, Tuesday, Tuesday. The day that time forgot. Welcome back to the treehouse. Goodness gracious. Charlotte! 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 That means Stefan and Henry. Cool.
Clinging to the reason I asked you here, still peering through the periscope. I look around and see plastic opportunity. I pick it up and there's only hope. Blame it all on some backlit fantasy of spending too long staring out at the sun. Just think if I could sing and we could listen with the radio on. With the radio on, yeah. Coffee's cooking and the bulbs are all burning and last drops of some midnight fuel. Sometimes I'm choking on something that's broken and sometimes I'm polishing up a jewel. Up and down is my pattern of living and I know it ain't a whole lot of fun. Just think if I could sing and we could listen with the radio on. With the radio on, yeah. Patience hides inside a mound of emotions and we miss the things that we need the most. This may not seem like any courageous moment, but I'll change the diaper, you make the toast. Blame it all on some backlit fantasy of spending too long staring out at the sun. Just think if I could sing and we could listen with the radio on. With the radio on, yeah. With the radio on. Radio on. Radio on. Radio on.
Wow, stuck the landing on that one, Bill. Yeah, you did. Where'd you leave your Joe? Where's the Joe? Oh. Left it over there at the writing station. Okay. Diane gave me this week. It's from Penzeys Spices. I think they sent it to Diane because she's such a good customer. But you know, got the old standbys. Thanks, Ma. Oh, yeah. Tamitra. And any and all Methowians who happen to be passing through on their way to the ski hill or to the cross-country slope. The telemark. Do you hear that? Did you hear it? Did you hear the dulcet sound of... Don't hurt yourself. Excuse me. You spoke French. Yes, here we are. Once again. Patty Lorenz is here. Chrissy Chesmore is here. Nadine Van. There she is. There's Nadine. Huh? There you are. Excellent. Excellent. And we got Alice. Alice is in the house. Tim and Demetra, of course. Demetra is here. Bill Woolham, we mentioned. Val Sanford, of course. Bill Kaufman, of course. Cindy Snyder, of course. None of these are really of courses. They're all like generous people who keep coming back because they know how fragile I am down deep inside. Jeff Steve, of course. Holly Tuttle and Kim Nelson, of course. Karen Molesky-Steck, no, she's not here. Kathy and Loris are here. Sorry, I didn't mean Kathleen might be here. Who else? Katrina Knight is here. Monica Holverstadt. Rochelle Hamill. Sally Green. Charlotte, Henry, and Stefan. Ooh, Togo. Wait a minute. Henry is there with a new puppy? Now you're going to have to, you can be honest with me, Henry. If the puppy goes and hides under the bed every time I start singing, I'll understand. It won't be the first time this has happened. Pets have odd reactions to me. What can I say? But, he's your puppy. You can explain it to him. Okay? Can we make that as a deal? Explain it to the puppy. Maybe in future Tuesdays you can just put the puppy in another room and give it a bunch of chew toys, stuff like that. It'll be fine. But if the puppy's having a positive reaction, if the puppy's running up to the screen and trying to lick my face and stuff like that, that's what I want to hear about. Okay? All right. Or if the puppy's just licking your face, Henry, that's fine with me too. Really, that's good. How's everybody doing? Everybody survived another week. We are approaching the big Xmas holiday. And I should say right from the get-go, I'm not going to be on next week. I'm taking Christmas week off. I'll be back on the 29th of December. So we'll get to celebrate a little pre-New Year's thing. And boy, oh boy, the mystery beverages are going to be flowing that night. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to have to bring an extra cruise for all the bourbon renewal that may be going on around that time. So just forewarned is forearmed is all I'm saying. Let's see. I did have a physical therapy appointment today, and my neck has been generally recovering. My face, however, has erupted just today. Yeah, so I got the face thing going on. What are you gonna do? You're gonna do. You take one thing away, you put another thing in there. You just kind of figure, hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. So no jawbreakers, Send love, send hearts, send thumbs up-y things. No jawbreakers, though. Would be bad. Any kind of hard candy, probably not appreciated. Jolly Ranchers, even. No, I don't think so. Anything that I'd be tempted to chew or to try and chew. No rocks, no marbles. None of that stuff. Oh, goodness gracious. But I am pleased to be here. I'm glad that we are together again. Yes, I am glad. I actually thought after last week, I'm taking this week off, the neck thing was getting to me and stuff like that. And then, of course, right about the time I thought that, the neck started to feel better. And I started sleeping through the night again. It had been a couple of weeks of 2 hours, 3 hours of sleep a night, and then up walking around going, So I was thinking that. But then it started getting better, and I thought, well, darn it, I want to play. Yeah. So it's coming. But see, I'm real self-conscious around the holidays because I don't have a holiday set. I don't have a holiday show, I'm the guy that you go and see when you're sick of all the holiday music and the muzak that you've been hearing when you've been going into the shopping malls and all the different places. But people aren't going anywhere and doing any of that kind of stuff. So, you might have tuned in thinking, well, Bill, he's got his place all nicely decked out. He's got his Christmas tree up and over here, and he's got the nice lights over here. I'm sure he's going to do some, No. Nope, same old crap. What can I tell you? But I'm working my hardest to write something new. So hopefully for the new year there will be a new song maybe or something. But the reason I want to take next week off, I got to get this book together. I've got to pay attention. I've got to knuckle down and actually get it together. Scott Higgins. Yeah, so I just need to do that, right? Lynette Hensley. Hi, Lynette. Boy, it's great to have you guys here. Oh, goodness gracious.
One in a series of self-conscious boys, schooled on the island of misfit toys. You'll find in my pockets the tricks I employ for the only magic I know. My dad had a few moves and taught them to me. He let me sit in and to sing harmony. I'd follow his fingers wherever they'd lead, into the only magic I know. None of my teachers were ever aware of amazed concentration and wide open stare. They took me spelunking as if on a dare, into the only magic I know. It can get dark in here on the way to the light, and it's sparse in here when there's nothing to write. And if you park in here, then there's no end in sight. I know. It can get dark in here on the way to the light, and it's sparse in here when there's nothing to write. And if you park in here, then there's no end in sight. I know. So why am I still standing out here on these boards, scratching these vocals and strumming these chords? There's a girl in the front row who never looks bored by the only magic I know, by the only magic I know, by the only magic I know.
There you go. Who am I seeing? I'm seeing Joseph Webb. I'm seeing Joyce Hyatt. I'm seeing Jim Endicott. Welcome, Jim. Mark Kenny. Mark Kenny's here. Cool. Joseph Webb. Gosh, guys. Cool to see you. Gary Graves. Swinging. Is that all the people you were just about to tell me about their hand? She's back. And she's pissed. Why, thank you. Oh, almost came in too far. What? Everyone is reporting on their pets. Well, that's excellent. I hope all the pets are not running scared. Annie and Robert are here. Scott and Rhonda are here. Jim Endicott. Joyce Hyatt. Lynette. Mark Kenny. Joseph Webb. Kathleen Molesky-Steck. She was here, see? I said she was here earlier, but she hadn't checked in yet. And Gary Graves. Carrie Brakefield Kearns. Carrie B. Jim Endicott. Welcome, sir. So glad you guys came. Believe me, I am glad. I am very, very glad. I like this song, even though it's not a particularly up-tempo or upbeat tune. It's a song I wrote. When I realized, or it's a song I wrote about the time when I realized that I probably was not going to be able to make a living playing music, for the simple reason that I didn't like being on the road that much. I mean, I could be out there for a couple of weeks, do great and stuff like that, but any more than that, I missed my home, you know? Yeah, I missed my people, but I missed my stuff. I missed this space where it happens, you know? You get too far away from that too long, you know? I don't know. I'm just one of those people. And I realized that I just was not that ambitious. So I kind of had to face up to that. Wrote a song about it. It's called The Eye. Wait a minute. Before I looked it in the eye, before the numbers got so high, before I found a better place, before the map became my face, because I can't be who I've been, because of the muses on the wind, because of books I cannot shut, because the road becomes the rut. Now there's trees to try and keep. Now there's kids who need our sleep. Now the acres are untamed. Now so much remains unchanged. Before I looked it in the eye, there you go, that's The Eye. It's from an album called The Water Dance. Yeah, The Water Dance. That's what I did. That's what I did. After I made that realization about myself, I made the album The Water Dance. I wrote a bunch of songs. I realized that just because I wasn't going to be able to make a living at it, didn't mean I didn't want to do it. And that's when it really started to be what it has been ever since, which is the most important thing in my life, other than maybe my wife and my kids. You know. So, I've been working to try and relearn this song for more than a month now. And I'm talking about every day. I've been trying to relearn this song. It's a song I first learned when I was a teenager. And it's an old Gordon Lightfoot song that I just absolutely love. I think it's one of the sweetest melodies I've ever heard. And I worked out an arrangement of it when I was a teenager. And played it that way all the way through my teens and 20s and probably into my early 30s, and never realized just how difficult it was to play until I tried to relearn it at 62. Yeah, and it's one of those songs that you get. It's not just the guitar part that you have to have. It's like you have to have the guitar part so under control that you don't have to think about it, because you need to pay attention to the vocalizing of it too, which is something I don't think I did as much of when I was younger, but I'm doing it more now. And so I wanted to play it for you guys. That's why I've been working on it. That's so I can play it for you guys. You guys. Nope. Come on, Bill, you got this.
In a circle of steel where you place your bets on a great big wheel. High windows flickering down through the snow. It's a time you know, the sights and sounds of the people going round. Everybody's in step with the season. A child is born to a welfare case where the rats run around like they own the place. The room is chilly, the building is old, but that's how it goes. A doctor's found on his welfare rounds, and he comes and he leaves on the double. Deck the halls was the song they played in the flat next door where they shout all day. She tips her gin bottle back till it's gone. The child is strong, a week a day they will take it away, for they know about all her bad habits. Deck the halls was the song they played in the flat next door where they shout all day. She tips her gin bottle back till it's gone. The child is strong, a week a day they will take it away. away, for they know about all her bad habits. Christmas dawns and the snow lets up as the sun hits the handle of her heirloom cup. She hides her face in her hands for a while, says, "Look here, child, your father's pride was his means to provide, and he's serving 3 years for that reason." Rows of lights in a circle of steel, where you place your bets on a great big wheel. High windows flickering down through the snow. It's a time, you know, the sights and sounds of the people going round. Everybody's in step with the season.
I'm sure Gordon wouldn't mind that I sang that verse twice. I don't think he would mind. Nah, not Gordon. Goodness gracious. So there you go. I was way more nervous about that than I thought I would be. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. I haven't done that kind of nervousness at playing a song very much in recent years. Mostly because I just play my own stuff.
The sanctuary polishing brass, Jesus at the window, he's captured in glass. I'm lacing up my sneakers, packing up my things, gotta hit the road before the doorbell rings. God loves civil disobedience, God lends a helping hand. He's there at my ear when the time comes to take a stand. He says, "Oi, but the crazy land you got here, huh?" Well, I tried to write my senator, tried to write the press, but no one seems to listen until you make a mess. I contemplated terrorism, threw that away. I don't want to hurt nobody, now I just want my say. God loves civil disobedience, God had some trouble too. He's there at my ear when I can't think of nothing to do. He says, "Boy, I got a job for you." It's a burning bush, it's a burning tree. Ralph was standing there and he's looking at me, says, "I'll write it down if you'll take it to town. We got a mission, we got permission." Yeah, well, I never burn the building, I don't sink ships. I got a can of spray paint and a good set of lips. I shout from the rooftop, paint on it too, so when the bombers fly over, they know who to screw. God loves civil disobedience, God lends a helping hand. He's there at my ear when the time comes to take a stand. He says, "Boy, but the crazy land you got here, you call it America? Hey, young guy." God loves civil disobedience, God had some trouble too. He's there at my ear when I can't think of nothing to do. He says, "Boy, I got a job for you." Yes, you, yes, you, and you, and you. God loves civil disobedience, God loves civil disobedience, God loves civil disobedience. Say, "Oh, God loves civil disobedience." Say, "Oh, God, oh, God." Say, "Oh, well." Yeah, well, you know, yeah. Blood on the highway. That's right, friends. How you guys doing? Yeah? You all right?
You all right? You'd tell me, right? You'd tell me. There was a problem. Yes, indeed. There you go. There you have it. Whew. Alrighty. Alrighty then. Lori Trout. Happy Tuesday back to you, my friend. Lori's a grandma now, you know. That's right. That's right. Grandma Lori, we call her. That's what we call her now. Thank you, Scott. A white mocha. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Where was I? I was going to play a song. I was going to play one for the little ones, if there are any little ones. Henry. This is a song I wrote for my son when he was a little boy. It's called Lone Ranger in the Moon.
Rocket, little Mr. Blister with a smile so wide, little joy eyes, little hazel pockets, little Mr. just the right size. Little boy love, I see you in the kitchen, you running round in circles like a lost cartoon, talking to yourself and talking to your sister about the Lone Ranger in the moon. Can I have a sucker? Can I have a sandwich? Peanut butter mustard is my favorite kind. I can cut the bread and I can put the stuff on it and I can take it all outside. Little boy love, I see you in the front yard running round in circles like a wild baboon, talking to the trees and talking to the bushes about the Lone Ranger in the moon. Little Mr. Man, Mr. Personality, little Mr. Underwear outside your pants. When you grow up, you'll be a superhero, 'cause only superheroes get to dance. Little boy love, I see you in your bedroom, loving up a teddy bear until she swoons. Then you lie back and start to tell a story about the Lone Ranger in the moon. Daddy's far away now, but he'll be home soon. Daddy's down in Texas, but he's thinking of you. Little boy love, I see you in the kitchen, you're running round in circles like a lost cartoon. Let me tell you this, when I was down in Texas, I saw the Lone Ranger in the moon. Little boy love, I see you in my good dream, running round the circle like a favorite tune. Maybe next summer we'll both go down to Texas and meet the Lone Ranger in the moon. Maybe next summer we'll both go down to Texas and meet the Lone Ranger in the moon.
That's the Lone Ranger in the moon. Yes, indeed, friends. All right. Well. He's putting the guitar down. What does it mean? What does it mean? What could it mean? He's reaching in like this, which he only does on occasion. I don't know why he does it. Why does he do it? What's the meaning of it? What could it possibly... Poetry break! Poetry break! Poetry break! Poetry break! Poetry break! That's right, friends. Give his face a chance to recover for a bit. Maybe his face will not only feel better, but look better. Who knows? Stranger things have happened. So, Once upon a time, there was a funny-looking old guy named Bill. Called himself Billy Bob Bajingo, but no one knew why. Well, let me tell you. Here's the thing. Almost did it. Almost did it. You never know how close you came to me almost doing it. You know, I love my wife very dearly. And not only do I love her, but I trust her. She thought I should read something out of this book tonight. I was going to read more Donald Hall tonight, more Donald Hall prose. And I had picked out a few what I thought were really excellent essays to read. But Diane kept bringing up Henry. And she thought that there might be a possibility that maybe Axel and Levi would be here too. So she thought, have you thought about reading some of this, Bill? Have you thought about reading something from that? And I said, well, that's not really Christmassy. And she said, well. And then she read me this one. And she put her 2 cents worth in, and she thought, but since this is the book that was given to Diane when she was a young child by her aunt and uncle, and they gave it to her in such a way that she always believed that it had been written just for her. That's the kind of person I'm married to. The kind of magic that Diane inhabits every day and allows me access to, it's always been there. This is from The House on Pooh Corner, and it's the first chapter, chapter 1, in which a house is built at Pooh Corner for Eeyore. One day when Pooh Bear had nothing else to do, he thought he would do something. So he went round to Piglet's house to see what Piglet was doing. It was still snowing as he stumped over the white forest track, and he expected to find Piglet warming his toes in front of the fire. But to his surprise, he saw that the door was open, and the more he looked inside, the more Piglet wasn't there. "He's out," said Pooh sadly. "That's what it is. He's not in. I shall have to go a fast-thinking walk by myself. Bother." But first he thought that he should knock very loudly just to make quite sure. And while he waited for Piglet not to answer, he jumped up and down to keep warm, and a hum came suddenly into his head, which seemed to him a good hum, such as is hummed hopefully to others. "The more it snows, tiddly-pum, the more it goes, tiddly-pum, the more it goes, tiddly-pum, on snowing. And nobody knows, tiddly-pum, how cold my toes, tiddly-pum, how cold my toes, tiddly-pum, are growing." "So what I'll do," said Pooh, "is I'll do this. I'll just go home first and see what the time is, and perhaps I'll put a muffler round my neck, and then I'll go and see Eeyore and sing it to him." He hurried back to his own house, and his mind was so busy on the way with the hum that he was getting ready for Eeyore, that when he suddenly saw Piglet sitting in his best armchair, he could only stand there rubbing his head and wondering whose house he was in. "Hello, Piglet," he said. "I thought you were out." "No," said Piglet. "It's you who were out, Pooh." "So it was," said Pooh. "I knew one of us was." He looked up at his clock, which had stopped at 5 minutes to 11 some weeks ago. "Nearly 11 o'clock," said Pooh happily. "You're just in time for a little smackerel of something." And he put his head into the cupboard. "And then we'll go out, Piglet, and sing my song to Eeyore." "Which song, Pooh?" "The one we're going to sing to Eeyore," explained Pooh. The clock was still saying 5 minutes to 11 when Pooh and Piglet set out on their way, half an hour later. The wind had dropped, and the snow, tired of rushing round in circles trying to catch itself up, now fluttered gently down until it found a place on which to rest, and sometimes the place was Pooh's nose, and sometimes it wasn't. And in a little while, Piglet was wearing a white muffler around his neck and feeling more snow between the ears than he had ever felt before. "Pooh," he said at last, and a little timidly, because he didn't want Pooh to think he was giving in, "I was just wondering, how would it be if we went home now and practiced your song and then sang it to Eeyore tomorrow or the next day when we happen to see him?" "That's a very good idea, Piglet," said Pooh. "We'll practice it now as we go along. But it's no good going home to practice it because it's a special outdoor song and has to be sung in the snow." "Are you sure?" asked Piglet anxiously. "Well, you'll see, Piglet, when you listen. Because this is how it begins. The more it snows, tiddly-pum." "Tiddly what?" said Piglet. "Pum," said Pooh. "I put that in to make it more hummy. The more it goes, tiddly-pum, the more—" "Didn't you say snows?" "Yes, but that was before." "Before the tiddly-pum?" "It was a different tiddly-pum," said Pooh, feeling rather muddled now. "I'll sing it to you properly, and then you'll see." So he sang it again. "The more it snows, tiddly-pum, the more it goes, tiddly-pum, the more it goes, tiddly-pum, on snowing. And nobody knows, tiddly-pum, how cold my toes, tiddly-pum, how cold my toes, tiddly-pum, are growing." He sang it like that, which is much the best way of singing it, and when he had finished, he waited for Piglet to say that, and of all the outdoor hums for the snowy weather he had ever heard, this was the best. And after thinking the matter out carefully, Piglet said, "Pooh," he said solemnly, "it isn't the toes so much as the ears." By this time they were getting near Eeyore's gloomy place, which was where he lived, and as it was still very snowy behind Piglet's ears, and he was getting tired of it, they turned into a little pine wood and sat down on the gate which led into it. They were out of the snow now, but it was very cold, and to keep themselves warm they sang Pooh's song right through 6 times, Piglet doing the tiddly-pums and Pooh doing the rest of it, and both of them thumping on the top of the gate with pieces of stick at the proper places. And in a little while they felt much warmer and were able to talk again. "I've been thinking," said Pooh, "and what I've been thinking is this. I've been thinking about Eeyore." "What about Eeyore?" "Well, poor Eeyore has nowhere to live." "Nor he has," said Piglet. "You have a house, Piglet. I have a house. They are very good houses. And Christopher Robin has a house, and Owl and Kanga and Rabbit have houses, and even Rabbit's friends and relations have houses or somethings, but poor Eeyore has nothing. So what I've been thinking is, let's build him a house." "That," said Piglet, "is a grand idea. Where shall we build it?" "We will build it here," said Pooh, "just by this wood, out of the wind, because this is where I thought of it. And we will call this Pooh Corner. And we will build an Eeyore house with sticks at Pooh Corner for Eeyore." "There was a heap of sticks on the other side of the wood," said Piglet. "I saw them, lots and lots, all piled up." "Thank you, Piglet," said Pooh. "What you have just said will be a great help to us, and because of it, I could call this place Pooh and Piglet Corner, if Pooh Corner didn't sound better, which it does, being smaller and more like a corner. Come along." So they got down off the gate and went round to the other side of the wood to fetch the sticks. Christopher Robin had spent the morning indoors going to Africa and back, and he had just got off the boat and was wondering what it was like outside when who should come knocking at the door but Eeyore. "Hello, Eeyore," said Christopher Robin as he opened the door and he came in. "How are you?" "It's snowing still," said Eeyore gloomily. "So it is, and freezing." "Is it?" "Yes," said Eeyore. "However," he said, brightening up a little, "we haven't had an earthquake lately." "What's the matter, Eeyore?" "Nothing, Christopher Robin, nothing important. I suppose you haven't seen a house or what-not anywhere about." "What sort of a house?" "Just a house." "Who lives there?" "I do. At least I thought I did. But I suppose I don't. After all, we can't all have houses." "But, Eeyore, I didn't know. I always thought—" "I don't know how it is, Christopher Robin, but what with all this snow and one thing and another, not to mention icicles and such like. It isn't so hot in my field about 3 o'clock in the morning as some people think it is. It isn't close, if you know what I mean, not so as to be uncomfortable. It isn't stuffy. In fact, Christopher Robin, he went on in a loud whisper, quite between ourselves, and don't tell anybody, it's cold. Oh, Eeyore. And I said to myself, the others will be sorry if I'm getting myself all cold. They haven't got brains, any of them, only gray fluff that's blown into their heads by mistake, and they don't think. But if it goes on snowing for another 6 weeks or so, one of them will begin to say to himself, Eeyore can't be so very much too hot about 3 o'clock in the morning, and then it will get about, and they'll be sorry. Oh, Eeyore, said Christopher Robin, feeling very sorry already. I don't mean you, Christopher Robin, you're different. So what it all comes down to is I built myself a house down by the little wood. Did you really? How exciting. The real exciting part, said Eeyore, and in his most melancholy voice, is that when I left it this morning, it was there, and when I came back, it wasn't. Not at all very natural, and it was only Eeyore's house, but still I just wondered. Christopher Robin didn't stop to wonder. He was already back in his house, putting on his waterproof hat, his waterproof boots, and his waterproof mackintosh as fast as he could. We'll go and look for it at once, he called out to Eeyore. Sometimes, said Eeyore, when people have quite finished taking a person's house, there are one or two bits which they don't want and are rather glad for the person to take back, if you know what I mean. So I thought if we just went, come on, said Christopher Robin. And off they hurried, and in a very little while they got to the corner of the field by the side of the pine wood where Eeyore's house wasn't any longer. There, said Eeyore. Not a stick of it left. Of course, I've still got all this snow to do with what I like with. One mustn't complain. But Christopher Robin wasn't listening to Eeyore. He was listening to something else. Can't you hear it? He asked. What is it? Somebody laughing? Listen. They both listened. And they heard a deep, gruff voice saying in a singing voice, and the more it snowed, the more it went on snowing, and a small, high-voiced tiddly-pumming in between. It's Pooh, said Christopher Robin excitedly. Possibly, said Eeyore. And Piglet, said Christopher Robin excitedly. Probably, said Eeyore. What we want is a trained bloodhound. The words of the song changed suddenly. We've finished our house, sang the gruff voice. Tiddly-pum, said the squeaky one. It's a beautiful house, tiddly-pum. I wish it were mine, tiddly-pum. Pooh, shouted Christopher Robin. The singers on the gate stopped suddenly. It's Christopher Robin, said Pooh eagerly. He's round by the place where we got all those sticks from, said Piglet. Come on, said Pooh. They climbed down their gate and hurried round the corner of the wood, Pooh making welcoming noises all the way. Why, here is Eeyore, said Pooh, when he had finished hugging Christopher Robin, and he nudged Piglet, and Piglet nudged him, and they thought to themselves what a lovely surprise they had got ready. Hello, Eeyore. Same to you, Pooh Bear, and twice on Thursdays, said Eeyore gloomily. Before Pooh could say, why Thursdays, Christopher Robin began to explain the sad story of Eeyore's lost house, and Pooh and Piglet listened, and their eyes seemed to get bigger and bigger. Where did you say it was? Asked Pooh. Just here, said Eeyore. Made of sticks? Yes. Oh, said Piglet. What? Said Eeyore. I just said, oh, said Piglet nervously, and so as to seem quite at ease, he hummed tiddly-pum once or twice in a what shall we do now kind of way. You sure it was a house? Said Pooh. I mean, you sure the house was just here? Of course I am, said Eeyore, and he murmured to himself, no brain at all, some of them. Why, what's the matter, Pooh? Asked Christopher Robin. Well, said Pooh, the fact is, said Pooh. Well, the fact is, said Pooh. You see, said Pooh. It's like this, said Pooh. And something seemed to tell him he wasn't explaining very well, and he nudged Piglet again. It's like this, said Piglet quickly. Only warmer, he added after a deep thought. What's warmer? The other side of the wood, where Eeyore's house is. My house, said Eeyore. My house was here. No, said Piglet firmly, the other side of the wood. Because of being warmer, said Pooh. But I ought to know. Come and look, said Piglet simply, and he led the way. There wouldn't be two houses, said Pooh, not so close together. They came round the corner, and there was Eeyore's house, looking as comfy as anything. There you are, said Piglet. Inside as well as outside, said Pooh proudly. Eeyore went inside and came out again. It's a remarkable thing, he said. It is my house, and I built it where I said I did, so the wind must have blown it here. And the wind blew it right over the wood and blew it down here, and here it is as good as ever. In fact, better in places. Much better, said Pooh and Piglet together. It just shows what can be done by taking a little trouble, said Eeyore. Do you see, Pooh? Do you see, Piglet? Brains first and then hard work. Look at it. That's the way to build a house, said Eeyore proudly. So they left him in it, and Christopher Robin went back to lunch with his friends Pooh and Piglet, and on the way they told him of the awful mistake they had made. And when he had finished laughing, they all sang the outdoor song for snowy weather the rest of the way home. Piglet, who was still not quite sure of his voice, putting in the tiddly-pums again. And I know it seems easy, said Piglet to himself, but it isn't everyone who could do it. There you have it. There you have it, a little Winnie the Pooh for your December 15th. Yeah. What do you think? Little A.A. Milne. Oof. Goodness gracious. Perfect for a night with a sore face. Yes. Perfect. Okie dokie. Okie dokie, folks. Okie dokie. Let's see, what do we got here? How about what's the weather like out there? Pretty dry right now, but it hasn't been. No, it has not been. Rain is a subject that's worthy of trust. It stands up to scrutiny, settles the dust. It soaks through your overcoat, much as it must, but it never gets bruised from its falling. Rain is a subject we ought to research and learn to be thankful when we enter its church. Its fine architecture we mustn't besmirch, so that it won't get bruised from its falling. Rain is a subject that washes your dreams. It dampens your undies when it goes to extremes. If it comes in sideways, it can't hear your screams, so it never gets bruised from its falling. Rain is a subject that's hard to resist, with nicknames like cats and dogs, drizzle and mist, and a few obscene adjectives to add to the list, yet it never gets bruised from its falling. Rain is a subject we must learn to love, since much of our sustenance falls from above. It's 80% of us finger in glove, so let it never
get bruised from its falling.
Rain. For your listening pleasure on a Tuesday evening. Yes, sir. Yes, sirree. Yes, sirree, Barbarino. Oof. Gang, I think I got one more in me. The face that launched 1,000 ships is fast becoming a little too distracting for Billy Bob Bajingo to do what he hopes he does best. So let's try this.
Fetch me a bucket of mud, Maggie, fetch me a bucket of mud. We're gonna build a mud house 4 feet tall so we can walk around without feeling small. It'll have a mud front porch, a mud patio, even mud toilet seats in case you gotta go. It'll also have hot and cold running mud, so fetch me a bucket of mud. Fetch me a bucket of mud, Maggie, fetch me a bucket of mud. We're gonna build a mud variety store with different mud departments on every floor, with mud elevators, mud escalators, a muddy cafeteria with mud-caked waiters serving muddy coffee from muddy percolators. Fetch me a bucket of mud. Fetch me a bucket of mud, Maggie, fetch me a bucket of mud. We're gonna build a mud-powered automobile with mud-filled crash dummies sitting at the wheel. We'll take it out and test it on muddy mountain roads with mud-covered landmines waiting to explode. With a sexy advertisement we can turn mud into gold. Fetch me a bucket of mud. Fetch me a bucket of mud, Maggie, fetch me a bucket of mud. We're gonna manufacture a mud politician with mud puppy eyes and a muddy sense of mission. He'll muddy up the House floor, muddy up the Senate, muddy up the meaning of the mud committee minutes. He'll set new foreign imported mud limits. Fetch me a bucket of mud.
There you go. There you go, friends. Thanks for coming. Ooh, this one seems short. Well, it's 7:59, so it is short. Short by a minute, but I bet I can vamp. I bet I can vamp until it turns 8 o'clock. Sorry about one thing or another. If it ain't one thing, it's two. What are you going to do? But next week I'll be working on the book, okay? Trying to make final decisions, editorial decisions, doing the layout parts, getting it together so that hopefully by early 2021 we can all forget that I had to work on it, and then we can move on to other things like writing more songs and stuff like that. Okay? Thanks for coming out tonight, and thanks for sustaining me like you guys do. And hope you know how important this is to me. Have a good week. Have a good 2 weeks. We'll see you on Tuesday, December 29th, 7 p.m. Same bat time, same bat channel. Okay? Good night.